Welcome to everybody over here in YouTube land. How are you doing? For those of you who don't know me, I'm Nick Dunning. I'm the creator of Total Audition Magician and the author of How to Get Acting Work Quickly. and I'd like to invite you and welcome you to the show. So, first things first, I'd love to invite you to realize you can ding, subscribe to the channel. What do you think of my high tech? Isn't it great? Right, so today we're talking about acting tips. 3 tips for how to stand out in your acting auditions. Now these tips as well work pretty well with self-tapes too. But I'm specifically focusing in on 3 tips for how to stand out in your acting auditions. Hey Eamon, how you doing? So I've coached over 2,500 actors now, which is an awful lot when I think about it. And I've noticed that over the years, some of the feedback that I've got has been positive, some of it's been negative. And so I'm distilling 3 things that are going to be very beneficial. The third tip is gold dust, the gold dust that you're going to get. The first tip I want to give you here. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Indra. How are you? So what I want to say first of all is the very first tip I want to give you is this. Focus on doing your job, not getting your job. Hey Maren, how you doing? Doing your job, not getting your job. Okay? What do I mean by this? What tends to happen, and we've all done it, I have done this multiple times. If you go into the audition and your brain is focused on the past, in other words, some kind of like terrible mistake that you did at the last audition, or you're thinking about something negative, or you're thinking about the fear of your last audition, or you're thinking about, how you're going to mess this one up, your brain is going to be in the wrong place. If your brain is going to be in the future, right? If you're thinking you're in the future, your brain might be thinking about, yes, if I get this job, I'll be able to pay off the bills. If I get this job, I'll meet, Russell Crowe. If I get this job, I'll be able to travel to Prague. If I get this job, I'll be able to become famous and go on Graham Norton's show. You know what I'm saying? Your brain gets divided by what it is you're supposed to be doing. When you focus on doing your job, you focus on staying in the moment. When you're focusing on getting the job, your anxiety either takes you into the past or into the future, right? So when you come from a position of neediness, that you need the job, that you want the job, wanting is always a form of scarcity. It means that you don't have it. You lack the job. So whenever you lack the job, what's going to come off and breathe off you is this kind of desperation, this kind of neediness that I call, those of you who know me, I call this, how much is that doggy in the window? Hello, I'm a really good actor. Please buy me. Please buy me. I'm terribly good and very well behaved. You know, that kind of thing? This is the kind of thing that we can all do, which is like trying to please people. In fact, I want to do some videos about people pleasing. Would you be interested in that? Let me know. Just drop down in the comments. I've seen it so often. So focus on doing your job, not getting your job. That will keep your brain much more focused on the moment and being in the... Those of you who trained with me before know that peripheral vision is also fantastic for that, for just staying in the moment. Okay? Now, the second tip I want to give you is this one. Focus your attention on the reader, or focus your attention on your scene partner, whether you're auditioning or self-taping. Focus your audition on the other person. What this will start to do so much more easily is break down any of those fears of kind of self-consciousness that we've all had at times. Can you relate to that? Anyone out there ever had self-consciousness in an audition? If you've ever had anything like that, that's because you're focusing on yourself. When you're focusing on yourself in a self-conscious way, in a negative way, you're looking into yourself, you're doubting yourself, you're criticizing yourself, you're disapproving of what it is that you do, it's never going to keep you in the moment. But when you focus your attention on the other person and place 100% of your focus on them, then you can stay connected to them. And that is mesmerizing, right? Not only will it help you to get rid of self-consciousness, it will also keep you in a position where you're able to communicate really well with the other person. You can focus much more on your acting, your actions, the action that you're doing. When you're focusing on whether you're coaxing someone, seducing someone, whether you're attacking someone, berating someone, belittling someone, whatever it is that your actions are that you're doing to the other person, when you're focusing on them, then what's going to happen is anyone watching is going to see you interacting. They're going to see you actively interacting. The camera will then come in and just pick you up. It can't not. It's only going to see the truth. The camera will always see the truth. If you're feeling self-conscious and worried, it will see that. If you're being in the moment and connecting to the other person, it will see that. That's gold dust. But the real gold dust lies here. Some of you have heard this before. It's so important. I want to say it again and again and again. Never use the word audition when you're auditioning. What? What's he talking about? Okay, as I said, I've spoken to over 2,500 actors now. And I know one of the biggest things that happens if I mention the word audition, I've asked so many people this question. What does the word audition mean to you? And 9 times out of 10, what they say is it makes them feel fearful, the sense of dread. The word audition conjures up terror, horror, anxiety, panic, lack of money, lack of something, dread, worry, all of those negativities. That's what most people are, and that's because culturally we've listened to each other, we all talk to each other and we go, oh, I've got an audition, oh, have you? Oh, yeah. You know, we pick it up off everybody. Everybody's the same thing, right? You sit in the pub, or when we used to sit in pubs and used to talk to people, or you talk to actors afterwards, everyone's going, oh, I've got this audition coming up tomorrow and I'm really anxious about it, I'm dreading it, I'm worried about it. Okay, that kind of emotional state is connected to the word. We know that the word audition is an anchor. You want to start anchoring yourself in a completely different way. Think about sharing. If you go in to see a friend, right, which is the way I suggest you meet casting directors, as a friend, and you're sharing with a friend what you do and what you love doing, the thing that gets you up in the morning. You love acting, right? How much do you love acting? You can share that gift with them. And when you're sharing a gift with a friend, it's a completely different ballgame, right? Get the idea? Yeah, Eamon's just said an audition is a job interview. Exactly. Now, if you're having a job interview, that means you have certain things going on in your head. You're either success or failure. You're going to get the job or you're not. It's a digital response. We call that a digital response. You're going one way or the other. Okay? Now, if you get the job, great. If you don't get the job, right? That's the way you're going to feel. Yes, absolutely. Applegate projects. The word audition feels like going to the dentist. Exactly. And if it feels like going to the dentist, you're imagining that what's going on is that someone else is coming at you with a drill and they're going to place it inside your body and cause changes on the inside, right? No wonder auditioning can feel scary and fearful. You're going to have things taken away from you, your teeth, right? What kind of an actor wants to go into an audition room with no teeth? Do you see what I'm saying? That's why we ban the word audition. Or at least use it more mindfully. If you kind of say, yeah, I'm going for an audition tomorrow, that's one thing. If you say, you know, do you get the idea? But if you can start to think of it as being something when you're sharing something, you're sharing with somebody else, preferably a friend. Think of that person as a friend. You're sharing your gifts. You're sharing your talent. You're sharing your opportunity. You're sharing this ability. You're sharing your skills. You're sharing your delight in the character. You're sharing your interpretation. You're sharing what you love about the business. When you share like that, that energy is just so attractive because it pulls you in, right? Get the idea? What do you think of that? Does that make sense to you guys? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah? Do you have any questions about that? I'd love to do some Q&A on that. If anyone's got any questions, let me know. I'm going to have a little drink. Cheers. Let me know in the comments, what kind of things how does it make you think? What does it make you feel? All of that. Is there anything in there you'd like to get some clarification on, or anything you've asked? Over a lot of you remember anyone who came along last week, the last 3 weeks, when I did the three weeks training on the NLP stuff. Now look, now what's this say here? Rona's just this is great. Ronan is a director, and I've worked with him, and he's a lovely guy. He says I would refer to it as a meeting and thank the actor for meeting as my opening words. The difference is palpable. Absolutely. If you're meeting someone, it's a meeting. You're meeting and greeting. It's a sharing. It's an expression. It's something gentle. It's something kind. It's something considerate. It's something fun. It's just going to take that stress off your brain. So, anyone else got any other thoughts or questions they'd like to talk about in that? You see, the more you can anchor positive thoughts, positive intentions, positive connections inside your mind and body system, the more liable your brain is going to kick in with new ways of doing things. Just to recap, the trainings I did the last 3 weeks. Yeah, Brian says he's always feeling nervy in the waiting room. And what? Yeah, exactly. Now, nerves is one thing. We talked about that last year. Last week. You can have fear. You can have nerves going on. That's absolutely one thing. But your brain can still be focused, absolutely, on what it is you want to do, which is doing your job, not getting the job. When the anxiety is about that, you need to train your brain to stay in the moment, to stay on track with what it is that you do. That's all the kind of stuff that I talk about when we do in the trainings and in the coaching is focusing your mind to deliver what it is that you want. So we're talking more and more about visualization, the power of visualization. When you visualize a positive outcome, you have expectancy behind what's going on. Cameron says, any tips not comparing yourself to others that may sort of become absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the biggest things that happens to us when we're going into auditions. We often walk in. I've done this 1,000 times. You walk in and you see. In my case, I often walk into an audition or for self-taping or meeting a producer or a director or something, and you see in the room there's 5 other actors, and they all happen to have black shirts. They've got grey hair. They wear specs, and they've got beard. Right? Then you kind of go right. This is it. Right. The first thing you want to focus on is, again, you're there to do your job, not to get the job. The anxiety all comes from comparing yourself to the other people, right? And if you're comparing yourself to the other people, one way you can use to focus your mind in a different way is to put headphones in, just as you're waiting, just to play something that keeps you in the moment. Now, what's new said? The multiple. Yes, I will. I'll talk about that in a sec. So that's the kind of thing, you're keeping your brain focused in the right place is always vital. Headphones are very good for that kind of thing because they keep you in the moment and you can just play some focusing music. You can get these things called binaural beats now, which you can listen to. You can get them free if you're on Spotify. There's all kind of music like that. Just relaxes the back of the brain. There's so much research now about having something else to take up the space at the back of the brain. When you're driving along in a car and you can play a bit of music, you notice you're more relaxed. It's because your conscious mind is being occupied by the music. So it's quite easy and quite a good thing to do to put on a little bit of music or something like that, gentle, nothing with words. Well, that's my preference, no words. Just a little bit of music just to focus you in the moment. Now, there's the big problem that we often have with other actors in the audition room is that we often know them, and often they all want to start chatting, don't they? Right? Hey, how's it going? Personally, what I do in that situation, because I know if I start chatting to people, my focus goes elsewhere. My focus does not stay on my job. I'm not doing my job now. I'm now focused on getting the job. Okay? So what I want to do is I want to say to the other person, hey, John, great to see you. Listen, I just got to go through this now. Would you like to meet for a coffee afterwards? Or is there something you can do? We can meet for lunch next week or something like that. So that you're keeping your friendship going. You're keeping that acknowledgement, but you're staying in the moment and focused on your job. That's what you want to do. Brian, what was that? Is there a Nick Dunning MP3 you can recommend for what particularly? Brian, well, the best one I use for this is the Audition Achievement, the Accelerator. That's super cool. It gets you into the right headspace. I'm sure you have a copy of that somewhere. Um, Nira, is that Nira? Is that correct? Can you give a light on multiple interaction at stage while acting? I don't understand quite the question. What do you mean? Can you say a bit more about that? Give a light, a multiple interaction on stage while acting. Oh, if you're, oh, I see. Do you mean when you're working with several people at the same time? Is that what you mean? Yeah. Well, your focus changes, right? And when you're dealing with somebody, what's going on is that you're interacting with let's say you're dealing with three people. Your focus may be completely different in each one of the scenes because your story of your character may in one scene be, it's something that you're moving forward, you're moving them into another place. The second scene might be, you might have an argument with someone, so you're focused on that person, but there might be a third person as well. So your focus can shift and change. That's okay. But your prime focus always stays on your character's intention in the scene. It's one of the things I'm going to be covering in the masterclass. Actually, I'm doing a masterclass coming up. If you're interested in that, I'm going to put the details down here after this. It's going to be a 3-hour live online masterclass. I'm going to be talking about all these kind of things about, how I approach a script, how I approach, breaking down a script, because I think that's really important. How you look at sequences, scenes, actions, activities, how we break that down, how you work out the arc of your character, how you go from here to there, how you know how to mark the differences. I'm going to talk a little bit about green screen acting. I'm going to talk about stuff that you can use like that. I'm going to talk about accents a bit. I'm going to talk about, the way you are on set, how you behave on set, how you handle working with other actors, how you handle working with directors. And I'm also going to break down how I approach character myself. I'm going to show you some clips and things like that and sort of take you through what it is that I've been doing. I'm also going to do a kind of character scene, well, not scene, but a character breakdown of Sir Thomas Boleyn, who, I was in The Tudors. And I'm going to take you through literally how I did that and what it was that I was thinking all the way through. And so I'm hoping that you'd find that useful in terms of how to be able to, work at a very high level. So that's the kind of thing that I want to be sharing with you. How you handle dealing with, superstars. That can be a bit intimidating at first. How do you deal with that kind of thing? I'm going to also be showing you just kind of like odd little unusual habits and quirks and things that I find that work for me. So if you're interested in that, there'll be a link below this after this. There's the masterclass. Also, for those of you who just joining me, there's a free training course as well, which is called High Performance Habits for Actors. And any of you want to do that, I'll post the link below this video too. And I would be so grateful, guys, if you would share this video, pop it around, share the word. That would be so helpful to me. It really is very good. Arlene, what's Arlene saying here? How do you get to the point of seeing the CD as friends if the meeting is in a venue I've never been to, a meeting people I've never met? I find all themselves that made me feel anxious. Okay, well, the way I do it, when I look at it, if I think of, the whole thing, you see, what you're thinking of, if you're thinking of the thing as a venue you've never been to before, the person you've never met before, then what you can start doing, what your brain is start doing, if I've understood you correctly, is you're starting to project from a negative point of view. You're coming from a fearful place, that you're anxious about the way it's going to go. You're anxious about getting the job. You're anxious about making a difficult impression or a bad impression. You don't want to let yourself down. You don't know the person. So there's all sorts of judgments going on, and we do judge. We judge all the time. But we can also judge positively. And once you start working on these things, once you start focusing into new ways of doing things, you can channel your brain into a completely different place, into a completely different way of doing things. Sean, hello, how are you? Sean, I work with Sean. How are you? Nice to see you, Sean. Yeah, we had a great old time. Yeah, it will be good. I hope so. Yeah, and Applegate Projects, that can't be did your parents really christen you Applegate Project? What a great name. Hello, this is Applegate Project. This is Dr. Martini, and right? Anyway, cool. Listen, it is awesome. I hope so. Anyway, that's my intention, is for it to be really fabulous. So I'm going to make it really interesting, and I'm going to do Q&A on a much deeper level on that as well. So again, if you're interested in that, do come along. Any other questions, guys, while we're there? Yeah, so Arlene, just to go back to that, I don't think I quite finished that. All of that is starting to make you feel anxious, right? What's going on is your brain is triggering certain responses based on past performance. Now, one of the things I do with coaching is we just get rid of all of that. We get rid of the old negative programming because that's the kind of thing you want to do. It's just really important to lose it. It's not helpful. And also, these days, when you start to expect a positive reaction and you have what I call expectancy, when you start to expect a positive result, as opposed to, as you're suggesting there, which is, anticipating and expecting a negative result, when you're anticipating and expecting a positive result, then it can come or it doesn't, right? But your expectancy is still there. I can go into that room and I can be expecting it to go really well. I can be confident that it's going to go really well because my confidence is high now. I'm feeling really good about what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing is good. I'm going in there to meet them. I'm deciding to call them friends in my mind so that I'm going in there as if I'm approaching someone. This is acting. I'm approaching as if. I'm pretending as if they're my friends. I don't know that they are. I don't know. I've no idea. I don't know. Then very few. There are very few people that I would say who are literal friends of mine who are casting directors. Most of them are pleasant, comfortable acquaintances. They're not. Do you see what I'm saying? They're people I respect for doing their job well, and I want to go in there and do the best of my ability for them as well, right? Yes. In a meeting or audition, how much is too much? How much is too much? How do you mean in a meeting? How much is too much? Don't quite understand the question. Say a bit more about that, Miriam. I'm going to have a chat. Andrea. Hello, Andrea. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Sometimes I think it'd be a bit over chatty probably from that. Sure. Again, usually what that's coming from is going to be, it's coming from the position, again, it comes from a scarcity place. It's usually scarcity, it's a fear place, something like that. And you feel that you need to overcompensate, that maybe there's a bit of stuff going on about, not quite good enough. I don't feel that I'm worthy to say what I need to say. So I need to speak much quicker so that people can understand me. Do you get the idea? There's usually something kind of underneath it all that's programming it in that way. And I don't know if, Andrea, did you come to last week? Did you do the stuff we were doing last week? Have a look in the belief change processes that I was sharing with you guys last week. And by the way, just a reminder, any of you who came for the last 3 weeks, if you just drop me in a little testimonial, you get the entire 9 hours live training totally free. Everyone else is going to have to find, they're going to fork out a few quid for it. But for those of you who came and you just dropped me a testimonial, you get the whole 9 hours training completely free. I hope that's a good exchange. So Miran says, yes, how much should, what's that say? How much should come into the room as a character? Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yes, how much should come into the room as a character? Personally, what I do, my focus is on doing my job. My job when I go in to do an audition is to do my job. My job is not to have a great, wonderful chat with the casting director. My job is to do my job. So what I do is I get into, I'm pretty much in character before I come in. It's a kind of weird cutoff though, because I'm still slightly, I'm focusing on, to be or not to be. Let's say that's the first line. I'm getting focused into my script. I'm getting into that. I'm going in there like that. I'm coming in, but my focus is on my job here. Hello, hi, nice to see you. Where are you from? I'm here. That's it. I'm doing this. Shall we start? Okay. And I want to go straight in, or as soon as I can. And at the end of the job, then we can have the chatty stuff. But I find it difficult, personally, I find it difficult to go in and go, hi, nice to see you. How are you doing? What a terrible journey I had. Oh, I can't do that. I just don't. I want to do my job, right? So that's what I choose to do. So if that helps in any way, let me know. Yeah, yes. Over chatty, over compensation usually comes from it's complete. I mean, I've done it. Don't think for any second that I don't know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about because I've done this. I have spoken endless. Oh, nice to see you. I do know what that's like. But I've trained myself over time now to do different things. And when you pick up new habits, you can do things in a different way. And that's why, yeah, for example, the free course, I've got the free training course below. High performance habits for actors. It'll be there after the live video though, so it won't be there just at this moment. So that's where we're at, guys. Anyone got any other questions before we pop off? Really enjoyed this one. That's great. Nice to see you guys. How are you all? I hope you're all well. You washed your hands. Good. Okay, any other questions? I'll leave it there then. And I'm going to be doing another 3 on Friday. So that's 3 things there. Do leave me a comment, all kinds of stuff like that. Subscribe and sign up and all that. And love to see you soon. Take care, guys. God bless. Bye now.